Greetings to our viewers. My name is Nompilo Gumede. They call me the powerhouse. You know why they call me that? They call me a powerhouse because I love building other women up. So this channel is building a powerhouse, and you'll also find this on Women in Business YouTube channel. And if you're listening via other social medias, welcome. This is a space for you to grow. This is a space where we profile our women in business. And today I have a pleasure of bringing you the most amazing life coach that we have in Pietermaritzburg. And I do not want to say too much because I want her to speak for herself. Louise, welcome to our channel.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
Absolutely awesome, thank you. And it's a privilege to be here. And yeah, I mean, let's proceed. Let's talk. Sorry, I don't know if I'm saying the right things.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
So I just want for you to take us back. Who is Louise? Where are you from? When were you born? Because we want to know things about you. Today you're a life coach and we're excited.
Perfect. So, long story, as we all do. So we all have a story and a journey that we've travelled, and our journeys are what make us unique. So that's definitely something that, and in your unique journey, very much how you process your life is where you grow. So that's very much who I am. So long stories, lots of stories to tell, but I'll give you some of it. So I was adopted as a baby, and in that space, my parents really processed that adoption with us really beautifully. And my mother had a super book called Child of My Heart and Not Child of My Womb, and that was shared with us as youngsters. So really,
it's so profound.
Yeah.
Child in my heart and not child in my womb.
Yeah. So it was a beautiful book, and so we were very well brought into that. And then life events happen, as they do with all of us.
Yeah.
Loss of my father at a very young age, and then my mum having to move back to Pietermaritzburg because family was here. And then at the age, I was 11 and my brother was 13. My brother started with drug addiction and alcohol, and at that time my mum was quite tough with me. She sort of, I wouldn't say excluded me, my mum loved me, but her focus was very much on my brother because he obviously needed a lot more attention in terms of the drugs and how that was all working for him.
Can I just take you back? You say you were adopted. Do you know your parents, like your...
Yes. So that was part of my journey later on, which will come in. When I had my children, I went into the background of my own parents. And part of my healing has come, and the part of my learning to process things has come from looking back, understanding the situations and moving forward. So that is very much what I would bring into my coaching. It's be able to understand the past, understand the process, understand the space, and then process it, and then you're able to forgive or learn from it and move forward. So that's very much where I've gone right from a very young age. So with my brother's addiction as well, that went on for close to 40 years, that addiction, where he it becomes difficult to love a drug addict.
Exactly.
If you're going to label them as a drug addict. So in order to understand the space he was in, I did a lot of work on the background of understanding where drug addiction comes from.
Sure.
I got hold of a friend of mine who worked in the neonatal ICU in Addington, in Durban, and she gave me some really interesting articles on fetal alcohol syndrome, fetal rejection syndrome.
So where does drug addiction come from?
So I think life events can cause it, but in terms of where my brother's addiction came from,
yes,
I did a whole lot of work there, and I found out his background and his adoption also. His mother actually was a drug addict, clearly didn't want him, so within that you have a fetal rejection from early age. So the child is actually born almost with a fetal rejection, the natural bonding doesn't happen.
Yes.
And then the drug addiction and the alcohol is also a genetic transfer. And that's his unique case, okay? It's not everybody's drug addiction starts there, but with him he was almost born imprinted with that. So once you've got that understanding of the background of a person's life, it's easier then to love the person than love their habits. So I was able to love my brother, as difficult as he was.
Yeah.
But I never could accept the drug addiction because he made our lives extremely difficult. It was not easy to live with. Abusive to my mum, abusive to me. But when the ability to process the background of people's lives also allows forgiveness. So regardless of all of what happened, he died at about 2011. He died very sadly, but it's almost a relief for that person. And every year I still choose to remember him. It's just something that, because I learned to love him as he was. So, drug addiction comes with a lot of a lot of different emotions for a lot of people. Some people, life events just turn them to alcohol and drugs because that's just how it is. But that's his unique story. So
what advice would you have for people who live with people who are addicted in alcohol and drugs?
So very much for me, it's easy to get angry. Okay, it's an initial emotion because that person's not conforming to what we expect them or society expects them to do. So it's very easy to do that. But for me, what has helped me so much is to process. The whole thing with me has been processing. So there is this problem. You get angry because it's a human emotion to get angry, but is to do some research. So I did go into Al-Anon. I spent time amongst alcoholics and drug addicts, listening to their stories, understanding and processing where those people were, just to get a better idea from a different perception of things. So I did a lot of that. I tried to encourage my brother to come with me. He never did. He never went into that space at all. But I did a lot of that. I also then, like I said, got articles on fetal rejection, fetal alcohol. I think very much talking to somebody about it. I think a lot of people go, and very much what my mother did was go into her own world and not talk about it. She didn't ever want anyone to know, and I think in that she was never able to let go herself, because she very much took that into her heart. And I think a lot of people do that. They sort of feel like they are to blame, or in some shape or form enable the problem because they then give money to keep the person quiet or everything like that. But what I have found, it's better to understand. So I've gone right back to the roots, gone to Al-Anon, looked for support, spoken to people. So my mum's inability to speak has taught me to speak. Okay, so I've learned that's what's happened. I only understood my mother's whole reason for that a lot later in life, which we can talk about later on. But as an early child, had to learn to start processing and understanding. So that's where it actually started for me. My ability to process and understand and forgive and move on and not hold on to the past and what was going on happened at a very young age for me. So I've been doing it for years. But that's where it actually started. That was my journey to processing and understanding. So that's where that all started. So and then my brother died of an overdose in 2011, and died in the lounge of my mother's home. Very sad, but at the end of the day, a release from the suffering that he had. Still causes me a lot of sadness. That I think we've spoken about these things before, and it still is a sad space for me because it's a painful life having lived all of that. But anyway, it is what it is. So each year I choose to remember him, and that's how I have that's how I processed that. So then from moving on from there, my mum was on her own. After that, for the 2.5 years, she was 88 then.
Oh wow, she was blessed with long life.
So then after he died, my mum and I grew up a much closer relationship. I spent a lot of time with her in the last 2.5 years of her life, probably every day in the afternoons. Take her for a walk in the wheelchair as she got older, spent a lot of time talking to her, and finally got to know her, because 40 years really of this didn't enable her and I to communicate so well. It was always him in that space. So the last 2.5 years were very much, I spent time with her, and she became quite withdrawn, but she then started sharing her story about the adoption process with me. So my mum, they were married 14 years. My mum couldn't have kids, and then obviously they went into the adoption process. My dad was 12 years older than my mum, And so they adopted Duncan first, and then me 2 years later. And then, obviously, in that process of adoption, they must have had some quite hard conversations, her and my father. And she totally told me this, so really in her last 2 years of life, said to me that she and my dad made a promise to each other that they would bring up these kids and nurture them, and it was a big decision for them, and so they made a promise to each other that this was something they were going to do, and I think all parents do that. But it being an external, bringing in other children, adopting children is probably has a whole lot of different emotion with it.
Exactly.
They had made a commitment to each other to do that at the time. Sadly, like I said, right from early, I was 3 when my dad died, and my brother was 5. And so what happened for my mum is that she took on that responsibility of the commitment to my dad, that she would bring up these kids and we would do the best for the kids. And so that is why she could never let go of my brother.
What
it was sort of honoring to my father for all those years back, for the commitment that she had made at that time. So now I don't know, Nampila, if I've really got advice about that. I think the way my mother was brought up was very much deal with things at home. I mean, that's just her background, very Victorian home upbringing. Things are done at home behind closed doors and don't talk about it. Again, for me, I think it's crucial that one does talk about it.
But who do you speak to about? That's the thing, and that's why I'm happy that we have you as a life coach today.
Yeah. So who do you speak to about it? Who would in that situation with my mum? I don't know, because my mum was so private, she wouldn't have spoken to anyone. And I think that life coaching essentially is sort of a new generation type of thing. When my mum's been dead 10 years now. I don't think there were life coaches particularly. Perhaps there were, but they were not as available as we are now. And so much of life coaching has transformed into individual coaching, and I think a lot of people's personal journeys come into the coaching. So who could my mum have spoken to? The psychologists have always been around. She could have spoken to a psychologist. She had a very trusted friend who, from her school days, I think she used to speak to a lot about that. But she was never able to let go of my brother. She enabled. Unfortunately, that's what happens. But people don't realize they're actually doing it.
Sure.
My mother had the financial means to do the pick up all the damage that he did, because there was drunken driving accidents and people's possessions and drugs and court cases, and it's went on for years. But she had the means, but unfortunately by doing that, I think people lose the fact that they're actually enabling the drug addict to continue in the space they are.
So what advice do you have for parents if their children are unfortunately stuck in drugs? What do you think they should do?
You need to reach out to somebody. So there are a lot of Al-Anon being alcohol, I'm sure there are drug addiction centres and stuff like that. Lifeline is very good. Places like that are very good. Someone like myself, I would say I certainly am not a psychologist. That's not at all my space at all. But someone like myself who's experienced something like this, someone to talk to. I think you really need to seek out someone who is empathetic to the place you're in, and talk to them. And just not sit on your own. You can never tell someone what to do, but you can pose questions and make people think differently. Ask themselves, am I by paying this drug addiction fine or drunken driving fine or whatever the case may be, am I actually helping the situation, or am I not enabling the situation? And I think very often it's just so much easier to put a lid on it than to actually say, okay, well, I'm not going to do it this time. I'm not doing it this time. You need to face up to your consequences. And it's a tough decision, and it's not an easy one to make. So very much need somebody who can be in the space with you, someone you can trust. For me, it's been a journey, so this is something I would definitely work with people on. But I would say don't do it on your own. Definitely not on your own. There are a lot of places out there that will help. Your doctors, even your medical doctors are a good point. But talk about it.
You're speaking about a very important thing. You're speaking about helping someone and enabling them. And I've been through coaching, and I know how coaching can help a person come out of their cocoon or be the best version of themselves. Can you just tell us about the pros, about the benefits of someone to attend coaching? Because we all need a coach. We need someone that will root for us and say, Nompilo, you're on the right track, you're doing it, and you must do it, and you can do it.
Yeah, you can do it. Everybody can do it. You know, this is the thing. We very much take on life and we just do what we do and what we know. And life in its society keeps us very much, life says this, we do that. You know, society says this, we do it this way. But actually, like I started off saying, we're unique individuals. All of us. We all have unique needs. We all have unique spaces in our lives. We all walk different journeys. And so for me, to have somebody where you can feel safe to talk to and to ask questions of just everyone, like I say, everyone's going to get it differently. So for me to be, the benefit of my journey has been that I started asking questions very young in my life, and then I saw it as something I knew. So in 2018, I qualified as a life coach, and I very much have done it on a part-time basis. I'm now stepping into it full-time.
Well done.
Yeah. So this is what I'm doing now. And
it's amazing when you do something that you are called for and get to do it on a full-time basis.
Yeah, so absolutely. So it's a very much a hard thing for me, but coaching in itself, so if you're coming to me now and we'll sit down, and so the first appointment always will be getting to know you. Are we a unique fit? Because for me, I'm not going to be the unique fit everybody needs.
Exactly.
There are different coaches that do different things. You know, they have different. We've got transformational coaches. We've got career coaches.
We've got executive coaches.
Executive coaches. Yeah, there's a lot.
But you are a life coach.
I am a life coach. And what has also come out of my life coaching is, in that niche also, how do you improve your lifestyle as a result of that. So
because we all want to have a lifestyle that's improving.
Yeah. So again, lifestyle is very much different for everybody else.
Exactly.
Again, too. So it's not a one-fit-all situation as well. So I've gone. That's very much my focus: life and lifestyle. And why have I done that? Okay. So there's always a story. There's another one that comes out here in November 2021. I was hugely overweight. And I was going through a lot of marriage problems and a whole lot of other personal problems, and my marriage was failing, and somewhere in there I just felt really uncomfortable with myself. So I arranged to go on a women's retreat to the bush. So now why I bring that up now is that we all have what I call personal touchstones, things that matter in our lives, things that stand out, a colour, the sky, the sunset, a place, a smell. There's a million of them. Everyone has their own personal things. So for me, the bush is very much my thing. So I went for a retreat into the bush, and somewhere in there, just being in my peaceful place. And why I talk about that is because when I coach you, I bring that out. I will say to you, okay, what are your touchstones? What are the things that matter to you? Because those can be incorporated in your day. Very often we don't realize that.
Definitely.
Okay, so it doesn't, a lot of people just take it for granted. So I like a certain perfume, I wear that every day because that is something for me. You drink water with lemon in it because, you know what, and you think they're small things, but people don't realize that. So in the coaching, very much I will bring that into what is something that can actually you can actually nurture yourself with a bit of self-care during your day. So I did that. So I went to the bush. When I came back from the bush, it's amazing when you do actually give yourself a bit of self-care and self-time. How you come back stronger. And so I came back from there, and I took on a personal journey of weight loss. And I've now maintained.
And I've seen you on your journey of weight loss, on how you are now conscious of what you eat.
Yes, very much.
It shows, and you've actually lost weight, and you're looking good, and you're also feeling good.
But the interesting thing is, and I think in the coaching one, I actually realized that once you sort of go through the coaching process and you start talking about it, and you start putting the steps in place that you bring yourself back to yourself. So when I came back and I followed this journey, I took on a completely new lifestyle. But what it's taught me is that this is actually who I am. So society has so much conditioned me to be a certain way, but because I've asked the questions and I've stepped up and I've processed and then studied life coaching, obviously that's also pivotal because you learn a whole lot of skills in that space. But I've taken the skills and applied them to my life. And coming back from there, I realized actually the person I am now is the person I'm meant to be. This is who I've always been. I don't feel uncomfortable in myself at all. So this is what life coaching does. If you are going to use it and apply it to your life, you become very aware of who you are and you become comfortable within yourself.
Sure. So
you're not a psychologist. Psychologists have a place. Psychiatrists, I'm not medical at all. And I would always tell somebody that if somebody came to me in a coaching, that's what the initial appointment's all about, is to actually see where the person is and to be able to define the line from there. And I do know, where that balance is. So I'm not that person at all, but ask the questions, find your truth, basically. Find who you are. It's like I very talked about being unique in the beginning, but very much be your unique person, because you are unique. Everyone has got their unique skill.
Definitely.
Everyone's got their unique way of life.
Yeah.
And we are so conditioned to just accept what life is giving us. So the reason I can talk about so easily is because I've done the work and I've done the journey myself. And I think coming through it to Nompilo is that one thing that has really come through for me in so many ways is to be grateful.
Definitely.
A lot of people lose the sense of what gratitude actually does. So life comes really hard for everybody. We all have it.
Yeah.
But what I've done now in my journey here is learn to be grateful, even for the negative things that have come.
Yeah.
And I think people lose a lot of that. They don't understand that, okay, so you have a broken marriage, you have a bad car accident, you have bad health, you maybe lose a child, you can't have kids. All of these things are hurtful.
Yeah.
But the moment you can actually ask the questions why, and you can start looking into it and finding peace with all of that, it almost becomes a teacher.
Exactly.
And it's not a painful event, and you're not a victim.
Sure.
So the minute you can actually understand that,
it's not a painful event, and you are not a victim.
No,
because
you're
we're walking in this life thinking we are victims, that this is happening to us,
me.
but it's sometimes happening for us.
Yeah.
So I could relate to you when you're speaking about losing a child, because I've also lost a child.
Yeah.
So now, this is so amazing. Thank you so much for dropping these pearls of wisdom. There's another word that I hear you speaking about: authenticity.
Yeah.
What does authenticity mean to you? And why should we as women or people be authentic? Because it's your truth. So if you're going to live something that you're not, you're not living within line with yourself, within your peace. So if you're constantly trying to impress social media or impress the man down the road or impress your office colleagues or whoever else that you happen to have in your life, and you're not true to yourself, you're going to be at discomfort with yourself all the time. Disalignment with yourself all the time. So that's where the authenticity comes from. So for me, very much in my coaching and the way I live my life is to be that authentic person. It's not to be who somebody expects me to be. And we do. Unfortunately, say, just using my example here of living with a brother with drug addiction and alcohol, and the friends he associated with, I could have socialized into that. But at obviously a young age, processing as I did, fortunately didn't. But I think for a lot of people, your social event, the people you are, what you're going around with every day imprints on you, and you absorb that. So authenticity very much allows you to be who you are, true to yourself. And when you're true to yourself, you really find peace. So it's an amazing place to be. And in saying that, do I hurt? Yeah, I do. Any emotion that anyone else has, I have it. I definitely do. I hurt, I cry, I am angry, all of those feelings are real for all of us. But through the coaching process and through learning how to process things, I've also this is very important for me, and it's a thing that I would encourage a lot of people to do, is
you need to find time to have quiet time. Okay,
that's
people
very important.
Don't do it enough. So my life is easier than a lot. I know you've got small children, your lives are different. Mine is in a different space. But every single day of my life, self-reflection, prayer, and journaling is something I do. I would encourage it in my coaching.
I love journaling. I journal every day.
Yeah, it's super. You know, it brings out a lot. It just gets your feelings out. And in that journey, I've also realized my unique strengths. If you look back on your journaling, you see what constantly comes up for you, and you see what it is. So it very much is a thing for me to do that. The other thing, and we all faith is a big topic.
Yes,
it's a big topic for you know, and my faith is in Christ, and it's very strong. I have a very grounded faith, and you know that I totally respect people's faith. People have their own belief, and that's absolutely how it should be. That's also your unique choice.
Yeah.
But for me, just why I bring it in is that 2022 was a particularly difficult year for me. And what I did between 22 and sort of about 18 months is I took a journey of solitude with Christ.
Okay.
So a lot of people are also scared of silence. And there's huge answers in silence and solitude. So I don't know if that resonates with people, but it is certainly, I think we're so busy filling our minds with so much stuff all the time that sometimes just to sit in silence and have some quiet reflection time. And look, these things are habits I've done for a long time, and I have learned to do it every day. It doesn't have to happen every day. I think just to start sowing seeds to people that how important these things are. Find the quiet in your space, because you can't process if you don't sit quietly.
Exactly.
No, it's very easy to. I can teach you anything. I can teach you how to set goals. I can teach you how to do this, and I can't teach you. You need to apply them.
Exactly.
I can teach you the skills to do it, but you also do need to actually sit in silence somewhere.
Yes. And think about it and process it. What does this mean for me as an individual? Because something can be said for a lot of people, but how did it make you feel? You know, sometimes we're actually scared of those things because they make us go deeper. And sometimes we end up thinking people are the problem. Sometimes we are the problem. So the self-awareness component is very important.
And people shy away from it.
Exactly.
People do not want to look inside and see what's going on in here. So that is very much something I realized. You know, people don't want to, they're scared of it. So I have had clients that I've started coaching with, and when it starts getting too close to home, they just say, sorry, you can't do it anymore. Look, I respect that. It's not always easy to self-reflect and to spend time on your own.
But it's very important because it makes you grow and be more emotionally intelligent.
And self-growth and self-development will bring out your confidence in a million ways people don't even understand. So very much that's my journey. So like I was saying, 2022 brought me huge challenges again on a personal level, but that was an amazing journey because I look back on it and see how much easier. So the more you apply the skills you learn, the easier it is for you to process, and the easier it is, your recovery time is a whole lot quicker in difficult circumstances. Your understanding becomes easier, your processing becomes easier. So what I've found by doing it and practicing it myself is that I can have a bad day today, but by tomorrow I'm back on track again. So life events don't shake you quite as much.
Exactly.
So like I say again, not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist, nowhere am I in that space, and trauma and severe things do require different treatment. But having learned to process life events, like I was saying earlier, broken marriages, losing children, you know, bad health, losing family members, you know, anything like that. You just need somebody where you can actually process those things, ask the questions, learn to spend some time in quiet reflection. What I do in my coaching is give you the tools to ask yourself. Every time I'll have a session with somebody who will put some questions in place, there will always be some work you need to do. And if you're prepared to sit in the space and do the work, the results are phenomenal.
Sure.
So they really are. I can only encourage that.
Definitely.
So why I am here now, basically, why I've stepped into it, is because through my whole journey of all of this, is that I've actually found my true purpose for my life now.
Wow.
So I have travelled a road that's difficult, as we all do, but right throughout it, once I started, so when my daughter went to university in 2016, I was standing in my garden one day, and I love this story, that's why I'm sharing it with you. And I thought to myself, you know what, it's an absolute privilege to be a parent, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But there's also more to you than just being a parent. We have unique roles. Parenting is one of them.
Yes.
You're a wife, a mother, a teacher, a friend, you know, a daughter, whatever. All your roles are. But you're also a unique individual underneath there, and you need to also look at yourself and say, okay, who am I? What is it about me that I like? So what I like a lot about myself is my ability to have processed and worked. It's a nice feeling to know that all of this I've been able to process, and I've been given the skills now. This has all taught me to be the person I am. And so by stepping into this full time now, the lessons that I've learned have affirmed that this is where I need to be. I feel like I've stepped into into this is what God wants from me, basically.
Wow.
That's where I'm at.
So it's like now you see that even the things that when you thought they were happening against you, they were actually happening for you.
So different.
So it was all working out.
It's all working out for your good. Absolutely, at the end of the day. So this is my unique story.
Sure.
So this is my story. This is why I'm out here, and I really do believe that I'm now following my purpose. I spent 40 years working in a fixed income job, bringing up children, because that's what I needed to do.
Exactly.
That's what I needed to do to provide security for my family. But there is always time to stop and say to yourself, who am I? You know? And so my journey started in 2016, really, when I started personal life coaching with you and I have both been with Brenda and with various other people, and it's just grown me into who I am, you know. And like I said to you, looking back on my whole journey, I realized that I am now who I'm meant to be.
Exactly.
So it's been.
So at any point in our lives, we can get into that space of realizing that we can be who God has meant us to be.
Absolutely.
We have a purpose, we have a calling.
Yes, absolutely.
And we can do it. This has been such an exciting talk with you, Louise. Just breaking it all down. I've learned the importance of self-development and growth, the importance of being authentic, the importance of reflecting, the importance of seeing all things working out for your good, because you know that you're not the victim. I think you make me feel like I'm not a victim today. So I'm so excited. How do we get hold of you? Because I believe that our community needs a life coach. Can you please share your social media handles so that we can follow you on social media?
Wow. Now this ladies, I'm going to put it very clearly there for all of you, is a new step for me. I'm relying on Nompilo and Women in Business very much to help me with the social media out there.
But I know that you're already on Facebook, so maybe when we're editing this video, we'll put...
Facebook, I'm on there. I have got a marketing team. I'm just telling you this. Now working on my website and everything. So developing that at the moment, and all my packages and what I'm offering in terms of my coaching will be on there. But I'm happy to share my cell phone number. We could put it onto the video if you're happy, and my email address. I'm happy to put that on. I am on LinkedIn.
You can actually maybe say it out so that they'll also read it.
Okay,
so
I can say what my LinkedIn. Well, how do I say my LinkedIn?
You say just your name, your Facebook. It's your name and surname. Maybe you can say that. And then we'll put a picture.
On Facebook, I'm Louise Madgwick. That is my personal Facebook. But everything on my personal Facebook is motivational, and that's what I post there. But you can contact me there, and I'm happy to take voice notes and messages on Messenger if you need to get hold of me there. LinkedIn, again, Louise Madgwick, Life and Lifestyle Coaching, very much what it is. A lot of posting I do there, also motivational upliftment. I'm growing that. I am on TikTok, also Louise Madgwick. Again, just these ladies will have to help me with all the handles and things because this is not my strength. But I'm getting there to learn it. And my email address, louiseM6@aptrihost.co.za. Cell phone number, do you want it?
Yes.
082 808 0077. I'm relying on these ladies for technology here. I'm saying it, and I know you can edit it.
We'll put it in.
You can do it the way you need to do it. But yes, and I'm contactable, and my time is flexible. I can come to people. I'm happy to do Zoom. I'm happy to do one-on-one.
That's awesome.
I think the initial appointments should always be one-on-one.
It definitely.
Yeah, okay. So I think the connection one. I'm a great believer in connection, and so very much the first appointment would be one-on-one. I'm happy to travel to people to go and do that, and thereafter whatever's comfortable. If a Zoom is comfortable, we work with a Zoom. If it's needing to see me, then it's a Zoom. So I have initial appointment for connection and understanding, and then I have various packages that I will offer, and obviously within that they offer a whole range of things under them. So that's my story. I don't know where you're going to edit that, but
thank you so
much.
I
just want to end before I end, and I would like you to put this. I've got a little quote that I like to use. So a couple of questions. First of all, what stops you from finding your purpose? Okay? All right. I'm going to ask you that. So please edit it. You know how to do it. Do you know what sort of lifestyle you would like to live? When people, it's a question. I think people. So I want to pose these questions, and then to end it, there's a quote from a guy called Rumi. As you start the walk on the way will appear.
Sure.
So it would be my privilege to be one of your teachers. Okay, so that's what I'd like to do, and please do not hesitate to contact me. So I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if that.
That's so awesome.
So you can edit whatever you need to edit.
As we end the show, dear viewers and listeners at home, I've learned from Louise that it's important to have an abundant mindset. If you don't know something, get someone that will actually help you to find it. So do you know your purpose? Do you have someone who's a life coach who's helping you figure out your purpose and will connect you to the relevant path that you need to take in order for you to live your best life? Because I'm sure that it's not all of us that are living our best lives, and then you've met Louise today and you know that you can live your best life. So this is from me, Nompilo Kumete, the powerhouse, saying until next time, we will see you soon. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye.